Hey, this is Pillow Talk Mamas with Anamari and Troy. I'm Anamari.
I'm Troy.
Please like, comment, and share this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes. If you're new, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're already family, welcome back. Now let's get started with our segments of the week and get into this chat. All right, so we're going to start with stress of the week. My second stress of the week is going to double as my LOL of the week, according to Troy. So we owe you guys double because we missed it last episode. The first one was planning for my son's birthday party. We did a double birthday party. It ended up really well, but just, all the planning, making sure everything is right, keeping up with all the details or whatever. So nothing too bad.
But there was also some rescheduling you had to do.
It rained on the original day, and then it actually rained that Saturday too. But it was towards the end of the party. So.
Yeah.
And then my second stress of the week is we took our sons to, my family took our sons to a really cute park that we've never been to. And I can hear my aunt going, Leo, wait. Because my boys think that they're like 10 and 12. They're 4 and 2. Right. So they're like, that baby playground? No, I want to climb that. So I can hear my aunt chasing after my oldest, and I'm helping my youngest climb up. And as soon as his behind leaves my hand, he takes off. I was like, oh no. Panicked and ran full speed around the structure, fell. So the ground was spongy, but we ain't spring chickens no more. So the next morning my body was like, girl, don't do that again. Stress of the week, LOL of the week. It wasn't very funny for me at the moment.
It's hilarious.
But...
Your phone and everything flew. And
yes, my phone, I was taking pictures. My phone flew out my pocket. I have my cute little rose gold sunglasses. They went, fell off my face. And you know how my eyesight is. So I'm like, glasses, babies. I got this. And neither one of them fell, by the way. So I fell for no reason. That's fun.
You had to be super mom.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
No regrets. Your turn.
Oh, well, my stress of the week. I can't say I really have one.
Okay.
Too much. Because it's like, for me, everyday life is stressful. So having to pick and choose one for the week is kind of difficult.
Very true. You did mention, which I hope I'm not repeating this for you guys' sake, but we recorded this episode already, and long story short, couldn't use it. So you did mention the last time we recorded the shoe thing.
Oh yeah. Having to inform my 12-year-old that she does not need Jordans or any expensive tennis shoes for that matter, especially when she's at this growth spurt age. She's already grown inches since the summer started.
Yeah.
And
she's almost she is my height.
Yeah, she's 5 foot now.
Oh no, she's almost my height.
Yeah, she's getting there. So I'm trying to express to her you don't need it, and her dad is like, make a list, we'll take care of it. So she has a list of 7, 8 different pairs of Jordans and Nikes and this and that.
Girl.
There's nothing wrong with spoiling the kids and stuff, but when it becomes, I say unnecessary, just because I said she might outgrow it a little sooner than later, and it would just be a waste of money. And her sister don't have the same style, so I can't even pass it down to her sister. So that's been a little bit stressful, having to figure out how am I gonna finesse this situation to where maybe I can get her one pair and then tell her to get a job. They're lowering the age requirements, so she might be in there. They have, wow. It's 14 now, so she might be in there sooner than later.
15 right before.
Well, it's 14 with a work permit, but they're they made it official, or the requirements are not the same anymore. So she might be able to get in sooner or later and get her own stuff.
I mean, that was a joke, but she's close.
She's close enough. She'll be 13 in February, so she's getting there. I'm getting there. Woo.
I know. I keep having to remind myself, I keep saying we ain't spring chickens, but we're also not old.
Mm.
Like, gotta remind my body that sometimes,
Yeah.
but we're still young.
No, we
got
still
a lot
got
of time.
a lot of time.
Yeah. So we do want to do our Q&A, but we have to wait for the questions to roll in.
Mm-hmm.
So we can skip ahead to the topic of the day: pros and cons of being a stay-at-home mom.
Woo.
So
it's like you want to say all the pros, the beautiful pros, and then all the cons are like, oh, I hope that don't sound ungrateful for the opportunity. Right. But like, my goodness.
It is a blessing to be able to stay home with your kids. Yes. Like, there are women who are like, I'm going back to work, and they're fine with it. But there are so many women now who are like, they, as a family, they can't afford it, or maybe they're a single mom and they don't have somebody to watch their kids, or whatever the case. But it is a blessing. So we're not complaining,
but there are some cons.
There are some cons. So we'll start with the cons, and then we'll go into the more positive things.
All right.
So how often you get a break is definitely a con. There are some women have a lot of family, a big village, and they get breaks all the time. That is not the case for everybody. My village is very involved and active with the boys, but they are spread out all over the East Coast. So that does make it difficult. Of course, when everybody comes to town, everybody's like loving on them and helping out and things like that. Yeah. But it's difficult, and can get a little lonely when you have people in love and help, and they're not.
Yeah, it's not as simple as you're going to grandma's this weekend. Right. It's not like that. It's like, well, grandma has to come to town and make the time to come up.
And then the goodbyes, they have such cute videos online of like little kids saying goodbye to their grandparents, and they're like, oh, it's okay, I'll see you again this weekend. Yeah. And my son is like, no, Gigi, don't go. And then when she leaves, it's like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. We have to explain to him, like, you're not gonna see her tomorrow, but it's just, you'll see her soon.
You have to sugarcoat it, especially for their age. It's like, let's simplify it and make it easy for them to understand, like, tomorrow, maybe a little further out, but tomorrow nonetheless.
No concept of time, toddlers. The next thing is overstimulation.
Yes. Overstimulation.
Constantly hearing noise and banging and screaming and fighting. Constantly smelling things. Whether your kid is in diapers, pull-ups, or on the potty. Constantly having to smell stuff. Constantly watching them. Literally watch my kids bounce off the walls. That is a saying, but they literally bounce off of the walls. So I'm like, this is a lot. All of my senses are just like firing 24/7, and it's a lot. It makes you like snap sometimes, and then you hear yourself, you're like, okay, that was a little extra, but
but you're overstimulated, you're overwhelmed, so naturally you're going to get defensive of yourself and your personal space, and just like, I need a minute. My brain is just can't get all this registered at the same time. So that is a hard part, especially when they're so young. They're not understanding the facts of overstimulation. So it's just like, calm down. They're like, well, why do I gotta calm down? I
tell them too. I'm like, okay, mama is overstimulated right now, and I'm feeling a little irritated. I know that they don't fully understand and process that at this age, but the more I tell them, the more they understand vocabulary and things like that, they'll get it.
The empathy isn't there yet for it, but the concept of understanding is there. Like,
they're very empathetic people, but they have to understand to be empathetic. Yeah. So being a stay-at-home mom is not recognized as a job, and you do not get paid.
No. And hugs and kisses.
Hugs and kisses. So much love.
So much love. And just go back to overstimulation.
Right. It's like my heart and my bank account are not the same. But you do get benefits. Obviously, it's not like health benefits. There are benefits, which we'll get to in the pros. If you're sick or in pain, your kids don't care at all. Again, you can have empathetic kids, but they also have to understand what you're going through.
Yeah.
So, with me personally, I have dysmenorrhea. Look it up if you feel like it. But I am usually in an extreme amount of pain. Like, can take an 800 milligram ibuprofen and wait 10, 15, 20 minutes. And I'm like, okay, it's not working.
Yeah.
But you can't take anything else for 4 hours.
Right. Yeah. You have to have that break.
Yeah, they don't care. So we haven't had to deal with sickness much in the last, like, I don't know, year and some change maybe. But definitely with pain on a regular basis, that's just like you have to push through. At my last clock in, clock out job, I worked with all women, so they were very understanding when I explained to them, and they were like, "Oh, okay." When that time came and they saw me, they were like, "Oh, okay." Like, you want to take a break? You can step aside for a sec. I was like, yeah, give me a minute. Like, hunched over in pain in public, like crying sometimes, depending how bad it is. But yeah, you have to push on as a mom.
Yeah, you have to.
And this one is more so for me because a lot of other moms have cars. I currently don't have my own vehicle, but change of scenery, getting out of your four walls and letting not just your kids. A lot of people are like, oh, get the kids out of the house. You need to get out of the house too.
Yeah.
You need fresh air, sun, change of scenery, just metaphorically and literally a breath of fresh air to balance life out. And then my last con is finding age appropriate things to get out. With them being so young, I'm like, I'm gonna take you go-kart racing and to the zipline course, and I gotta wait for those.
You gotta wait a very long time for those things. Yeah, a very long time.
But I mean, there's some things now, but I just don't feel like it's like taking them to the playground over and over again. Yeah. They'll enjoy it, but they may get tired of it eventually.
Yeah.
And
those are the type of things you have to space out and like once a week kind of thing. So he still leaves you other days of the week. You're like, what are we gonna do now?
Right. I try. We have like his science kits. My oldest has his little science kits now, so we'll do that and probably take them out on the deck or out front or something for mess sake. And it's not a full-blown change of scenery, but it's something different for him. So
yeah,
it helps.
Yeah, absolutely.
So your cons.
My cons. So my biggest one that I actually had to write down because I didn't want to forget was wanting a break but feeling guilty because your spouse works. So there are times where I'm like, can you handle soccer practice for me? Can you do this? Can you do that? And I'm like, I feel bad because
don't let my husband hear you say this.
My spouse is a blue collar worker. He works in the automotive industry, so he works with his hands and is always on his feet. And he literally has a physical, like, laboring job.
Same.
So I feel so bad saying, hey, I know I've been home all day and I've had more time to sit down than you have. But like, I need.
Sometimes it's worse because I feel like after being overstimulated, I'm like, I just need to sit. But then when you sit too much, that your body gets used to that.
Yeah.
And you don't want to get up.
Yeah. I definitely felt that quite often lately. Like once you get in that comfortable position of like, we're just not going to do anything. Like right now it's so hot. I'm like, we're just not going to do anything. And then it just becomes repetitive. Where it's like, I guess we're not doing anything today. And then it gets hard to get up and get motivated again.
Right.
And then I always, say like, it's hard to sit here and say I'm going to clean every day. I don't want to clean the same thing every day. So it kind of does go back to your con of like new scenery and breath of fresh air because it's like there's a redundancy in a cycle to what we do every day.
It's a lot, especially with the size houses we have, they're not by any means mansions, but
No.
they're not small.
Yeah, we have quite a bit of square footage to keep up with.
Having to clean all of that. And when we were looking for houses and I was doing like our filters and stuff, I was like, oh, we can put the square footage to this. And I think my mom and my husband was like, who's going to clean that?
Mm-hmm.
And then when we started touring places, even land, Alante was like, who's going to cut all that grass?
Yeah.
And when I thought about it, like here, it's a lot of grass to cut.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's a lot of house to clean. By the time you finish one room,
because you moved everything out the way, and just one room spick and span, and then you're like, oh God, everything's in the hallway.
Right.
I gotta find some place for this to go. Like everything needs a home.
Yes.
So that's hard.
Yeah.
Trying to think of any other. Yeah, here. I'm trying to see if there's any other cons that I can like really think off the top of my head. Privacy is a huge one with me, with my daughters being older. Privacy is a huge thing.
Yeah.
Personal space is a huge thing. Even though they're home with me, especially my youngest being homeschooled, she's home with me all day, every day. She still wants mommy time.
Yeah.
So there'll be times where like my husband comes home and I'm like, let's just watch TV. And I'm like, oh, we can't watch it because it's not appropriate for the kids, but it's also like family time. So there's a lack of privacy that you do get with being a stay-at-home parent, especially when you have kids that are home a lot more often than kids who might go to public school.
Yeah.
So, or go to school, period.
Privacy with everything, like even going to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm. Like I was so happy to get out that toddler phase of,
yeah,
mommy, where are you going? And I come with you. Like,
well,
no.
Before it was like, just bust in. Now I'm at the phase where I'm like, no, you're coming with me because I'm the only adult in the house and you need eyes on you.
Yeah.
So sit there. Let me do what I need to do. Like I can have like, if they're in their high chairs or, boost their high chair, whatever, eating, then I can run off and go to the bathroom, take care of my business. But,
even now for me, it's like, Mom, you in there? Like, yeah. What's
what do you want?
I'm hungry. Oh, or Mom, can you approve this app for me, please? It's like, just give me 2 minutes.
So that phase is
so it never. A lot of the cons that you have, it never goes away.
They just shift.
It just shifts.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more aggressiveness. It's just in your face. There's no apology. Just like, oh no, sorry, Mama. No, it's straight on. Like it is what it is. You chose to have me. This is what you're gonna get. So it doesn't get any easier. But I think the concept, those are my big ones right now for this age range.
Okay, not bad. So this is kind of not. It's kind of in between.
Mm-hmm.
So I had written down your social life before and after being a stay-at-home mom and losing you and finding you, because social life before and after, when you become a mom initially, you can lose yourself.
Yeah.
You forget, maybe you forget, or maybe it's just, you don't like it anymore. You forget what you like. Like I've had people ask me, oh, well, what do you like to do? I'm like, what do I like to do? Because you don't like to do the same things. There's some things you grow out of and some things that just don't interest you anymore. And then you have to figure out, what do I like now? What am I interested in now? Your passions in life may change, whether that's hobby or career. But it's not always a negative, because I think losing yourself can go one way or another, but finding yourself can be a really beautiful experience. Relearning who you are as you're becoming a new person.
Well said.
Yeah, thank you. I tried.